colleagues within Dalhousie's Faculty of Agriculture has formed together over many years, more than a couple decades, the Rural Research Collaborative. It used to be called the Rural Research Center. And here people work together on their joint areas of interest as well as independent collaboration pieces. So we have the Research Collaborative, that is a small institute focused on research that is rural focused, and it's about making connections between people, the geography, land, resource issues, politics, history. So many dimensions are considered in the research collaboration. And we do this kind of rural research through multidisciplinary approaches. So we're very mindful of using social sciences, humanities, applied sciences, tapping into poetry, into art, to culture, to remnants of history that have, for many, been long forgotten. And we use a variety of approaches that try to root us or ground us in our locale. And although we often speak of rural in the Atlantic part of Canada, it really is about rural issues in many other parts of the world. So, our center has really been focused on outreach activities that are applied, and we get asked to participate in the Women's Institute, for example, or with 4-H initiatives, or some issues related to the farmers market. So we really relish those opportunities to have applied partnership building, as well as focused research that look at some of the dominant narratives, and we challenge some of those narratives through reorienting view to both rurality, but also challenging capitalism and neoliberalism to a large extent. So some recent pieces that we've worked on are in youth immigration to rural areas to counter the often thought of youth outmigration and the decline of rural communities. And in Nova Scotia, we examined communities that were repopulating with younger people. Community views of rural well-being has been investigated as well in a variety of communities in the East. Colleagues have investigated agrarian movements and cooperatives, and this is a real living part of our work. Cooperatives are growing in parts of the world and continue to be an important force for social justice, for economic distribution, and for policy and practice. Colleagues in the past worked on a rural disaster resilience strategy and had some great funding supports to help prepare for some concerns. Those colleagues aren't working on that project now, some have retired, but it's a really good foundation for people looking at questions of resiliency. The network still also has connections to women's health, talking largely about home remedies and kind of locally based health strategies, and some intriguing collaborations came out of that research with community members. A lot of senior women were involved in the initiative as well. And rural women's volunteerism, that was with the Women's Institute along with 4-H and a number of groups interested in shining better light on the role women have played in rural settings. And an interesting one that has been completed, and this colleague has retired, Dr. Deborah Stiles, but she was working on a wool value chain. And intriguing investigations, they considered it for the products that were being produced from sheep's wool, but also for insulation in houses. It was also being looked at in terms of other ways it could be adding value. For example, the balls that can go into dryers and reduce climate cost, one might say, because you can cut your dryer time in half by using these wool products. So many creative initiatives underway, and many more that we're very open to at the Rural Research Collaborative. So an active partner of our institute also is Dr. Karen Foster. She is the Canada Research Chair in Rural Futures Research Center and has done extraordinary work, particularly around economic development and prosperity. And she would also be very interested in hearing from folks working on the considerations about the future for rural communities. So we are pleased to be part of this burgeoning area of more attention, more interest, and critical investments being made into rural. And we welcome anyone to contact us directly and be part of our team. Thank you very much for joining in this video, and feel free to get in touch with any comments or questions.